I really appreciate everybody who's watching this. So please like, share, subscribe, comment. Thanks very much. Appreciate that. So I'm here today with Lee Livingstone,
Hello.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt,
Yeah.
MMA coach to Sharon Warren. Warren, how do I say her
Yeah, we're
surname?
trying right now. So a few Thai
Uh-huh.
MMA fighters. That's it. That's it. I was on the UK scene, but now I'm in Thailand. So yeah,
Uh-huh.
a few
And
fighters. What's in the ONE FC?
yeah, expat living in Thailand now, and MMA referee as well. So
Yeah,
are they all the
MMA
thing?
ref. I ain't done that.
And
Yes.
owner and everything for
Yeah.
Bigfoot
Bigfoot
Brazilian
BJJ
Jiu-Jitsu Bangkok.
Bangkok. Yeah. I've got a BJJ club in Bangkok, Thailand. So things are going okay. Yeah, I enjoy it. So I'm still here.
That's the thing I want to get to later, speaking about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I want to get the hard question out the way first.
Okay.
Um, I'm a bit on the outside looking in, and I see what you post on Facebook a lot of. What's your feeling about what's going on at the moment, Lee? As much as I don't want to talk about this, I think we've got to.
Which one? Which one? The coronavirus or the George
The
Floyd?
coronavirus. The coronavirus in a minute. The big news at the moment. What's happening in America?
Um, yeah, it's just tough to be black in America, basically. You
Uh-huh.
know, it's about time. Push comes to shove. You're from the UK as well. Racism in the UK exists in the UK, but it's not as bad as the US. Because
Well,
they've
that's
got.
what I wanted to ask you because I've been thinking about that, and I've been thinking about okay, I, I can't remember seeing it, but is that because it's not part of my life? Is it because I'm white? Is it because apart from certain times of my life, I've lived ostensibly a privileged life? So I'm not sure what's it like in the UK now. What's your feeling about it?
What, racism or policing in the
Yeah,
UK or both?
racism more than anything. I think you know.
Well, being a brown person, black person, brown,
Yeah.
whether it be Indian, Pakistan, Jamaican, Caribbean, African, you come across racism growing up in the UK.
Yeah.
Um, off the major cities are okay. The Londons, the Manchester, the Birmingham, you know, they're okay. It's the small, towns in between. What
Okay.
they have in the, so I'm an '80s child, so there wasn't many brown people in those in between towns.
Uh-huh.
Especially where I was from, the old miners town. If you went to old miners town, you're like, yeah, you black bastard.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, as soon as I can remember, I was, you know, school football team. If we had to travel to the suburbs, there was racism.
Mhm.
So it's always been there for my particular experiences in the UK, and I came from, let's say, a rundown area. You can call it a ghetto, and then blah blah blah, and then we, as teenagers, we all had interactions with the police, and
Yeah.
and I would say it was a 50-50 split. You know, some of them was okay, some of them was, oh,
Yeah.
you're black, you're black that. Like I said, not as extreme as the US. Probably
Uh-huh.
where I come from. If I heard the Met's a lot worse, the Metropolitan London Police.
Hmm.
That's got some, institutionalized racism within the
Hmm.
ranks. You know,
Hmm.
But again, it's there if you're a non-white person, especially growing up in the sort of ghettos, the urban areas.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so it's there. The small towns, the major cities are okay, but again, now I've grown up, there's been an influx. of more, I would say, brown people and Eastern European people as well. Like in the UK, the Polish get it, so they get some racism, but then they're white. You know,
Yeah.
when I was just on about this, I mean, the other day regarding Africans, when I was a kid, you didn't see any Africans probably, and then as a teenager, one African family, in the street. But now the UK has got a lot of more Africans. I know they've always
Yeah.
been in London, and they've got an eye presence in London. But I'm from the Midlands, in the next to Birmingham.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more Africans now. So I'm Polish, so racism's there, but it's not as, like I said, it's not as bad in the States. The States is pretty bad. As a kid, being a bad lad, I had minor interactions with the police, and at the end of the day, we were just toe rags. Toe rags
Yeah.
bored in the neighborhood.
Mhm.
On school roofs. You know, yeah,
Yeah.
it was, it's called trespassing now, but it probably was back
Yeah.
then. But you know,
We used to get shit with the police when I was young, and part of my career was illegal. So it's like selling drugs and stealing things. You have interactions with the police, and some of them were all right, and some of them were fucking horrible. Like, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
uh,
exactly. Like I said, some police was totally fine. Some of them was, slap you in the back of the police car. What are you doing? Where's your black mate? You monkey, all that. It was the 80s. It was like the 70s
yeah,
and the 80s. It was like sort of Alf Garnett era, Marigold. You know,
yeah,
I caught the back end of that, where it's
uh,
acceptable to, call, your black, do you remember Jim Davison, Chalker?
yeah,
Okay, everyone laughing the head off. I
mhm,
even as a half black child, I thought that was funny. But as an
uh,
adult, I'm looking, you racist. Now I'm thinking, bloody hell, I was laughing at myself. And so all the sort of comedians in the 70s and 80s had it, and like,
yeah,
again, you're from the UK, and it was in football as well. A lot of my sort of peer group, went to the terraces, went to football matches.
mhm,
And I remember I was never a football guy. I never went to football
yeah,
matches, but the black ones what did, they encountered a lot of racism,
mhm,
within the fans, even the home fans, never mind the
yeah,
away fans. So
mhm,
it was present. But if you're in relation to policing, again, I hear the metropolitans a lot more racism, a lot more hands-on.
yeah,
Uh, but the Nottingham Constabulary, uh, you know, again, there was racist police officers and there was totally fine police officers. So our policing is nowhere near the US. The US have had it for 30 years. Well, it's been documented for 30 years. The first thing I remember was Rodney King, 1993. So that's
mhm,
nearly 30 years ago. And it was going on before then. In the
yeah,
US, I'm on about. You're talking, so
mhm,
because in 1993, it was like a big
yeah,
box, big camera. So if we had
mhm,
these back in 1993, we'd be documenting a lot more. So 1993 was the catalyst for, again, the LA riots. And nothing's been resolved. Race is a big issue in the US. It was built on, different races. They stole it from the native Indians. Black people built the free labor, and Chinese built the railway. Free nations there were, free civilizations kind of, or free types of human species there. Oh, are you still there? Because I got error
yeah, yeah,
message.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, yeah,
yeah,
I'll just get you back on. Oh yeah, out to date something. Yeah. So anyway,
oh,
yeah. So and then if you want to go down to slavery, we didn't have slavery in the UK. The presence of black people in the UK, and this is a big fact, we got it post World War II. From the invitation from the British government to rebuild England
mm,
and Britain from, after World War II. So all the brown people, yeah, got invitations, and the British government got them from the Commonwealth. You know,
Yeah.
oh yeah, come here, yeah, my grandma, yeah.
We weren't
But
involved in the company I worked for, because I was thinking about it before we came on, and about how much I've seen and things like that. And then I thought, yeah, the company I worked for, maybe Distribution, which was a shipping company originally, they changed the date when their foundation was. So it was just after slavery, because obviously they were into shipping, and Liverpool was a big dock for bringing slaves through from Africa, like, you know what I mean? So there was a lot of it. Anyway, what I like talking about is MMA and fighting and things like that. That's what I love chatting about, and that's why I wanted to speak to you. How did you get into martial arts, Lee?
um,
Did you go straight
watching
to
kung fu
jiu-jitsu? Or,
films as a kid.
yeah.
Watch it like again, going on to race and color. The blacks in the 70s was into kung fu films, Bruce Lee, blah
Uh-huh.
blah blah, and so that era, when VHS came out, uh, my dads and my uncles watched, all the kung fu films, the Shaw Brothers, and all those mad kung fu films. I was heavily into kung fu films.
Yeah.
I got my grandparents and my uncle. I'll have a stash of VHS, like Master of the Flying Guillotine, Mad Monkey Kung Fu. So all over Bruce Lee, I had Bruce Lee picture on my wall with nunchuckers and blah blah blah. Excuse me. So that's the influence of martial arts early on, with those kind of movies. And then as a teenager, I started karate. I got to like yellow belt, and then I broke my arm, broke both bones in my arm. 13. Sorry,
So that's through
15.
karate.
Yeah, I did yellow. No, no, I fell off a wall. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Nothing really martial arts related. I fell off, so I stopped training, and then I retook it up back in my early 20s. And I
Uh-huh.
just the area what I was hanging around, there was a karate club. The people I was hanging around, like 8 of us, when this guy who I was hanging around with at the time, he got to brown belt as a kid. Said, "Oh yeah, let's go karate." Yeah, okay, I'll go. I've done a little bit. I got to yellow belt. So I went, and it was and I just slot straight back into it. And then, like, initially there was 3 of us what stuck it. After that, a few years, and then and then out of the original 8, I think only 2 of us got a black belts. I got to third
Uh-huh.
degree. I got to third degree after like 9 years, and then I started to like cross train. Yeah. So yeah, the basically, and then a friend, an old time school friend who I watched kung fu films with and used to toy fight. He got into kung fu as a kid, and I got into karate. Anyway, he invited me to come down to sort of a Muay Thai grappling kind of session. So yeah, just the Vale Tudo days, just as it was
Okay.
beginning in the UK.
Yeah.
So yeah, or was I doing Muay Thai for? I might have been doing Muay Thai at the same time because my karate and the Muay Thai overlapped. I was falling out of love
Yeah.
with karate,
Uh-huh.
Muay Thai. Yeah, overlapped. And then I stopped going
Uh-huh.
karate and just going Muay Thai. Then we did a grappling class. Then there was and then jiu-jitsu, and then it all snowballed into MMA. Then MMA came around. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how it started. So as an adult, I started karate early 20s and to late 20s, and then crossed over to sort of Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu, and then because of MMA, wrestling, and boxing.
Uh-huh.
That's it. And then in the middle of that, I started to coach as well. I taught karate on Monday night. So probably that's
Mm-hmm.
where I get the coaching, the initial coaching experience from. And then again, yeah, and then decided to set up an MMA club. Actually, no, who I used to train with back then, yeah, said, why don't you try MMA? So I tried it, and I kind of was good at it, and I kept winning, so it snowballed, and then I set
How
up.
many fights, MMA fights did you have, Lee?
I was 9-1.
9-1. Fucking hell,
Yeah,
that's a good record.
yeah, and then like I said, but I was sort of 9, 10 years older than the people I was training with. They was,
Uh-huh.
I was mid 35, mid 30s, and they was, all up and coming, so mid 20s, 24, 25. You know,
Yeah.
Paul Bailey, Dan Hardy, Andre Winner, all those guys what made it to the UFC. So I wasn't really bothered about making it because I had the gym, I had money coming in, but those guys was kind of fresh, hungry, broke. I'm talking before there was
So
famous.
was that your gym, Roughhouse?
Not Roughhouse, Bushido MMA. Roughhouse was sort of a group of. There was 3 original members. Can't remember the third guy, but Dan Hardy and Paul Daly was the original kind of founders, and another guy, I forget him. I forget his name. And then it kind of again a group of guys just got together and we kind of trained the early days when I started to train with them and help them with the ground game in Majestics boxing gym in Nottingham called Majestics. And we used to do MMA in the boxing ring because Saturday mornings we used to do boxing there as well. So we used to stay Saturday afternoons and do MMA. And then sort of that sort of time going on, I with the ex-wife, I opened up the first sort of big mixed martial arts place in Nottingham, the first one called Bushido MMA, which was unofficially kind of Roughhouse Gym, but it wasn't called Roughhouse Gym. And then we had that for about 8-9 years. And then everybody caught up because we had a cage, we had a boxing ring. It's standard. It was standard then, but back then it wasn't. So it was first one. We had a 20-foot cage. We had an 18-foot boxing ring. Yeah, we had an 8x8 meter jiu-jitsu area. We had a bag area. We had a little gym. So we had I think it was like 450 square meters. It was like a big warehouse. Yeah, all the way back then.
You got any good stories for us about those days, Lee? About like Dan Hardy or Semtex that you can tell? Or not?
No, again, there's nothing really.
No.
We all used to train together, have good laughs, a good group of lads, English guys taking the piss. Everyone's taking the piss. You used to get visitors come to the training sessions and basically we was a fit bunch of lads, 5'5" standards, and we used to get a lot of visitors come in and they couldn't hang with the pace, and I know all the guys in the Roughhouse come from a sort of striking background, and I was again the grappling coach for a time, and I was a blue belt of jiu-jitsu and I was a grappling coach, so I was helping them out, and then most of them took that, the Ultimate Fighter, was it season 9, UK versus, that's where UK versus the US. I think Dan made it separately, but all the rest kind of, Andre Winner got in through there. Jimmy eventually got in, Jimmy Warled. Again, infamously, Paul got in, but he had the cost check moment and got thrown out. So they all made it through different paths. But again, there's no storage. We just used to take the piss out of each other, right? That's what I mean. Like if somebody gets subbed in a match, like we get Jimmy, when Jimmy got arm choked, a shoulder arm triangle, and his little legs was going like this. Everyone in the gym after called him Scuba Steve, because those little models like what used to wind up and put in the back, and you look like one of those. So that's the kind of piss taking we was all about. You know what I mean? So, but those guys used to train hard, and they deserve what they got. When I had the gym again, there wasn't anywhere where they are now in respects to career-wise or financially. I remember certain people come and say, "Oh, Lee, can I pay at the end of the month?" Because they're working part-time, and I can't pay till the 20th or can't pay till the 25th. Okay, then pay me on the 25th. That's there was right at the beginnings of the career, you know what I mean? So, and that's how kind of fresh there was, you know. So, but
Yeah, I
it's
just
all
read.
good, guys.
I read
I'm
this
still
bit.
talking. Go. Sorry.
No, no, go on. Sorry.
No, I was
I
going to
was
say
just saying.
I
I
still
just read
talk.
this bit. No, after you. Go on. Sorry, mate.
This is like, I was just going to say I still speak to most of them, you know, and I still see them when I go to the UK. You know, I know a few's got famous now. Paul's at the end of his fighting career. He's still in Bellator. He's got a couple of fights left. He's done well. You know, he's been knocking people out for like a decade. You know, Dan had health problems, and again, he's probably making more money off doing the commentary now than he was fighting. You
He's
know,
he's done really well for himself, hasn't he? You know,
yeah,
it's really nice to see how well he's done.
yeah. So, like I say, I don't think he'll come back. I think I know there's rumors and he's talking about, oh, I'm coming back. You know, but if you can make as much money talking on the mic and do it, and you're getting flown around well part of the world, there's no need to come back and fight. You know, and it was unfortunate what happened to him. I think again some kind of art syndrome. The US doctors were saying he needs to operate, get it sorted. I don't know if it was like get a shock to put it back. He's got a regular heartbeat or something, or something's not right. Something kind of simple. But then he come to the UK doctors and they said, no, it's fine. Just just leave it. But the medicine is different, isn't it? In the US, it's medicine for profit. But like as you know, in the UK, you have to be on. You know, I know a person who got shot 3 times. He was only in hospital 10 days. you you know what I mean? Threw him out in a colostomy bag and said, "Yeah, go on." You know what I mean? So, yeah, see you later. He's just been shot 3 times. He's only in there 10 days. So when it came to Dan and the US, and US was saying, if you want your fight license, you're gonna have to get it sorted. But the UK doctors were saying, "Oh, no, you don't have to touch it." So it was like, "Oh, yeah," and he ended up not fighting. So
Yeah, it's going to be a risky one if he fights again. Like, I don't know whether I want to see it or not, if you know what I mean. I liked watching him fight, you know, but it's been a long time now, hasn't it?
yeah, it is, and he was one of the pioneers. You know, you had Bisping, you had Paul, you had him, you had Ross Pearson. You know, I trained with Ross. Ross came down to the gym a few times. I don't know where Ross is. Is Ross in Australia still, or?
Yeah, I follow him on Instagram. So yeah, I see him.
Is he still in Australia? I know.
Yeah, he seems to be having a great life over there. Like.
Yeah. So yeah. At Ross Pearson, you got Andre. Andre disappeared. He did well. Andre winner. You know. So there was a few, and now again. I do not know of that people. If we're talking about that UFC, I probably know 10% of the cards. I don't really follow it that much. Like,
no.
Pardon?
I was just saying, do you follow it that much? And then you answered me.
Not really as much as I used to. Like the UFC, when I was watching it, it was like Pride Days. You know, there was you got the, you know, you either downloaded them off the internet, the Pride events, or then you brought them on DVD. You know what I mean? But then the Pride disappeared. Japanese MMA just went, whoo, you know, disappeared. So the UFC had no competition. And then it was all UFC, but all the old heads, if you're talking 10, 15 years ago, who's really in there? Who's really in there from that? Oh, the fight on Bellator now. You know what I mean? With Big. Did you see Quinton's belly last time he came out? You know, that's what. When I was in MMA, you had guys like that in shape. But last time I seen it, he came out like Fedor's had one, Quinton, those sort of guys, Vanderlei, all those guys are now old coaches, got their own gyms, you know. So it's all the new, new guys. Go.
Diego Sanchez still fighting, isn't he? You know what I mean?
Yeah, Diego. Even Diego. Was he on season 1 of The Ultimate Fighter?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Crazy.
and he's still fighting. He had BJ Penn still fighting, but he lost like 5-6 on a trot, you know,
Yeah.
in a row. So he disappeared. Last old timer who I did see actually live from one of the one events was Enzo Gracie,
Yeah, I
and
was at that one.
he won. So he didn't look his stand up didn't look great, but you know is 50 odd, you know.
Mm.
So he did well. He said he was coming back. There was talk about him fighting Sakuraba in Japan, but I don't think it ever happened. You know,
The Sakuraba fight. Mm.
I don't know. He comes strapped up if he does. He's got. You know that guy? He was probably one of the most exciting fighters, but he took a lot of punishment. You know, and he probably gets up in the morning and his joints are, his knees are gone, shoulders, you know, fingers. He come heavily strapped up. You know, he
Yeah.
fought heavy guys, light guys. You know, it was an era what you cannot relive. Sakuraba was the man. You know, I know he's known as the Gracie Hunter or the Gracie Killer, and he did take out a few Gracies, but it was also heavily influenced on Japanese gambling in the Pride events.
Mm.
You know? So, but yeah, that was the kind of golden era for me at MMA. Like I said, I watched the UFC. Was it this week? Who fought? Tyrone Woodley and
Yeah. Gilbert Burns.
Gilbert Burns. I know Gilbert from the Jiu-Jitsu world. So Gilbert Burns was a world champion back in 2014, 15. It was with Atos. And he was pretty good, you know, in the lightweight, 76 kilos. It was pretty good, you know, world champion. So it was top 5. And then he decided to, you know, go into MMA. And now he looked good. He's probably going to be one day going to be the champ, UFC champ, and make some
I thought
serious
it was
money.
amazing.
Yeah, because in jiu-jitsu, unless you're world champion a few times and then open up a school or do a seminar tour, you're not going to make any money. Not like the UFC. If you makes the UFC champ and has a couple of championship fights, you'll start to make
Yeah.
some serious money. You know what I mean? And then you can say, oh, we made the right choice, you know, to leave the jiu-jitsu. You know, same as the other one, who Damian Maia. Again, he was a phenom at jiu-jitsu, top of
Yeah.
top of the food chain, you know. And he came in the UFC, and he had 1 or 2 title shots.
At
Damian
least
Maia.
2. So he's fought Silver, that awful one in Dubai, wasn't it? And then he fought Tyron Woodley.
Yeah. Gilbert Burns just knocked him out as well. That's why Gilbert got this shot at Tyrone Woodley.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but he was a phenom, made it in the UFC. You know, came with a right hand and the strongest single leg in the world. You know, I mean, gets hold of that leg, you're going down. And he's made it. You know, he's at the end of his career now. Gilbert, you know, he said it was a bit early, but Gilbert tagged him. You know, so some of the jiu-jitsu guys have made a good career in mixed martial arts, or should I say the UFC, which again, if you get to a top level, top tier fighter, there's good money for it, especially jiu-jitsu guys. This, don't get me wrong, for jiu-jitsu guys, there's good money if you win the world championships a couple of times, because you can charge 2 or 3 fights in US a seminar. And some of them do a seminar tour. Go Australia, do 4 spots. Yeah, so that's you're talking 12,000 US. You go Hong Kong, you go China, yeah, you do a couple of spots there. You know, so you know you do America, you got about 10 spots there. So if you're talking to do 4 months of training, they can go back with 50,000 US. Something like that. So that's
it's not like training for a fight, is it?
Yeah, no, they're just and they're virtually doing the same technique at every seminar. So they just repeat. They probably have got 1 or 2 moves or selection of moves, but you know it's good money. But unless you win your world championships, you're not getting that kind of money. You know what I mean? You got to win. You got to be a phenom. You got to be top 5 and winning world championships for that kind of money. And you get free flights as well.
Sorry, who do you like watching in jiu-jitsu now, and what do you like? I watched that Submission Underground. What do you reckon to that Eddie Bravo rules stuff?
Oh, you mean EBI? Eddie
Yeah.
Bravo Invitational. Yeah, I watched
I
it. But,
watched that Submission Underground with Chael Sonnen, but he
yeah, I
uses
watched the last.
EBI rules.
I watched it the other. Well, no. So I watched that Submission Underground. I also watched Fight to Win. Fight to Win's
I've heard
another
of
one.
that.
Yeah, Fights and Wins another one, and they got the top names in there as well. Lovato Jr. He just
Okay.
won. He just won the championship. I can't remember what weight. He's just had to pull out of. Again, he got to middleweight champ in Bellator, didn't he? And he's
Yeah.
got like a bleed in the brain or something
Mm.
wrong with it. The CT scans showed something, so he's had to quit MMA.
Yeah. Same with Joe
So
Rogan.
yeah, so he's devastated. He just got somewhere. He's just starting to get somewhere, pick up momentum in his MMA career. But
Mm.
again, he's had to quit, and now he's concentrating on jiu-jitsu again. He's got a few more years left in jiu-jitsu. I enjoy watching him. Like he said on Fight to Win, he's got timeless jiu-jitsu. Really basic and effective, but it works.
Do you prefer that to like the Craig Jones dropping for your legs, or what's your thing on jiu-jitsu?
Jiu-jitsu is always evolving. You know, I know there's been I know there's been an influx of leg locks in the last couple of years. You know, and everyone says, "Oh yeah, it's a modern game," but there's always something new in jiu-jitsu. Yeah, everybody's into leg locks now. They've had to catch up. You know, because in EBI everyone was going for the legs. Even I was surprised when I watched the first few EBIs that how much people were going for the legs. And yeah, because it's kind of a new way of thinking, because old school thinking is like, oh, you know, leg locks are cheating, you know, but you know, if you don't attack the legs, it's 50% of the body gone. And there's two particular camps what was trying to bring in the jiu-jitsu scene. What was, you had the Eddie Bravo guys and you had the Death Squad guys. Yeah, don't know Death Squad. And they was trying, but in competition and through beating elite athletes, you know, the Death Squad guys have come through. You know, you got Gary Tonin, you got Gordon Ryan, you had Eddie Cummins, but he's left. All those guys could tie your legs up very quick, and they're still making waves now. And Gary Turner's gone into MMA. He's signed for ONE now, so he's fighting MMA, still doing submission though. He doesn't do much gi, just no gi. Gordon Ryan, he's probably the man. He's young, brash, arrogant. You know, calls himself the king. I think he's got a super fight with Gavao next year in ADCC. That should be interesting. With Andre Gavao. Yeah, he is. Again, his resume speaks for himself. You know what I mean? But I'd check Fight to Win out if you like that. Yeah, this Submission Underground. Why like is it Fight to Win? One of them's got judo, old school judo rules on as well. I have a few judo matches. Okay. Yeah. Because again, judo's changed because of the rules, and a lot of old judo guys complain you're not allowed to touch the legs anymore. So they've started to have some judo matches as well, but old school rules, which is interesting. Okay. It's interesting. Yeah.
So tell us about your jiu-jitsu club.
My jiu-jitsu club.
I've only trained with you once, and I had a great time. You know what I mean? It was a good laugh.
Yeah. So my jiu-jitsu club, I've been going 4 years now, 3-4 years. I've been in Bangkok 6 years, September. I was at Bangkok Fight Lab for around 18 months. So that's about right. Yeah, 4 years. Yeah, so it's, again, the newest BJJ club in Bangkok. I'm a Alliance Jiu-Jitsu black belt. It's not an official Alliance Jiu-Jitsu club. That's my goal, to become Alliance Bangkok. You know, I
Mhm.
have an official Alliance club in Bangkok. We'll see. You know, I've got a few students. You know, as long as I'm in Bangkok, I'm here. You know, this COVID just killed everything, so we shut the end of March, and officially we can open now the 1st of July. So we've been told. Everyone thought it was the 1st of June, but now it's the 1st of July. So we're seeing, yeah. You know, I also teach 3 days a week at another club across town, EMAC, which is a long-standing jiu-jitsu club with a ATT lineage. And it is is it the first Thai black belt?
Yeah,
Actually, homegrown
he was.
Thai. I know there's a few American Thais, but it is the first based in Thailand. Is the first
Yeah,
black
he's one of
belt.
my first coaches.
Yeah. So I teach at EMAC as well, 3 days a week, and I'm teacher at mine 4 days a week. And yeah, life's good. You know, I enjoyed Thailand. I enjoy the weather. I enjoy the food. You know, I live exactly the same lifestyle now what I did in the UK. You know, I teach, eat, sleep, repeat, train. Train a little bit less now. I'm getting old and I'm getting fat and bad knees. You know, bad knees, bad. I say a few years I'm 50, but don't tell anybody. So, but yeah,
Uh,
the club's fine. The club's fine, Russ. You know, I enjoy teaching. Keep getting, you know, I've learned Bangkok's a very transient city. There's people what come and
yeah.
go. You know, like most foreigners are teachers, they're on 1 or 2 year contracts.
Uh-huh.
So the foreigners what come through the door, I've learned that only here a few years, and then they go back home or they move on. They either move on to Australia, or they move to China to teaching, or they move somewhere else in Southeast
Yeah.
Asia. So again, which is a bit disappointing because I just get a student to a certain level, and oh, by the way, I'm going in 2 months. Oh, okay, and then so I got an even split. I've got about 50 foreigners and 50% sort of Thai nationals,
Mhm.
which is a good split. But yeah,
So
I
what brought
enjoy
you to
it. I'm
Bangkok?
still here. Pardon?
What brought you to Thailand and Bangkok?
BFL job on the
Uh-huh.
underground, which is MMA TV. I noticed
Yeah.
that they put out a job, MMA
Yeah.
coach, JJ coach, and I ticked all the boxes basically. And my
Mhm.
plan was to come to Thailand anyway in the December to
Okay.
set up a CrossFit in Hua Hin with the ex-wife. Because she was into CrossFit, I got into CrossFit. I did CrossFit for 2 years. And then, like I say, I ticked all the boxes, had an online interview, came to Thailand, took the guys to 301, Johan's gym, 301 in
No,
Samurai Yacht. Took a bunch of guys,
I've heard the name, but yeah.
yeah, from my old gym, and then came to Bangkok. Had an interview, met a few of the owners. Then we discussed some details and finally got the job and then came here. It was the same sort of time. The coup just happened 2000, was it
Yeah.
14, 15? Yeah.
I'm useless on things like that.
Yeah, so
I
I
remember
get,
you coming. So yeah, because I I remember speaking to you and asking you about should I have an MMA fight? I don't know, because for some reason I was talking, and it must have been about 5 years ago, mustn't it? Because it was 5 years ago, just over 5 years ago, that I had my first fight one.
okay.
So,
So now, how long you been where you are? Are you stuck?
it, what's that?
Where you are? Where you? Peru?
In Peru now, yeah. So I've been here for what, 2 months, 3 months or something.
Are you still
Feels
stuck?
like, yeah, it feels like forever. They've just extended it till the end of July.
What?
So
The borders closed to the end of July?
borders and movement and curfew. So here it was It's changed now, but the worst was Monday, Wednesday, Friday, men could go out. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, women could go out. Sunday, no one could go out. Curfew from 4 p.m. to 5 in the morning.
4 p.m.
Strict. Yeah. No going out for exercise, none of that stuff. Just going out for food or bank or whatever. Now I can go out any day apart from Sunday, and there's a curfew from 6 p.m. till 5 a.m. in the morning. And there's no movement. If I want to travel to, say, Lima from here, I have to get a special permit. You know,
And
there's police
that
just at the end of the road here.
Is that easy to get that permit?
I don't know. I haven't even tried. It's not, you know, what would it? All I'd be doing is moving from one place to another.
And if you could leave, where would you go?
Oh, home, Thailand.
Oh, you wouldn't go to the UK?
No. I could have gone. There was an repatriation flight for 250 quid, but I gambled on here being open before the UK. I lost. So, but I want to get back to Thailand, you know what I mean? So that's one of my places in Pattaya.
Yeah, well, so you made the right choice about the UK because they're still dying at an alarming rate. And so the UK government suck. Boris has messed it up, it seems. I heard a statistic, the other day is like the total deaths, 300 and something, are more than the whole Europe put together, died in the UK. So they're doing a terrific job, the Conservative government. No, I mean, yesterday there was like...
Oh, in the day?
Yeah. I mean, I read, so over the last couple of days, there's been 350 blah, blah, blah in the UK or England. And in the whole of Europe, there's 347, which is 27 countries. So, and then if you're thinking about Thailand, you're not getting in here till October. I say October.
I'm hoping August. I need to get back to China to work.
you say August, but so they say 1st of July. So if you've got work permit now or work permit or employment in a BOI, you can, or a certificate of residence, you can come back, but you have to apply to the embassy in the country and get a certificate of entry, which is so. When I say October is probably going to be like normal, no quarantine, or and I hate to say because I'm not going to get it, is they're going to insist you have a vaccine to travel.
I think that there's going to be a health passport in the future.
Well, I do, because too many countries have invested too much money. And I think the UK, that's what I don't want to go. I don't want to go back to a visit and they say, well, you can't go back on a plane unless you have a vaccine. Like Thailand.
I'm not 100% sure about what they're putting in you.
No, I'm not. I'm not anti-vax. I'm not this. I'm not that. I believe in the measles, the mumps. The ones what I had as a kid. There was like 3 or 4. You're the same sort of generation as me. So you had measles, mumps. Yeah. You had TB at 13, but I didn't. I had the 6 needles, but I was away for the TB. That's it. Measles, polio. So you had 3 or 4 as a kid. Now they've got about 30 odd. I think in the US they have chickenpox one as well. We don't have chickenpox in the UK.
Get it, what?
So they say, get chickenpox, you never get it again, or get shingles as an adult because it's the same virus. So we get this. You got the flu vaccine, what they give old people, or you can go to your GP and ask for it if you want.
Giving that in schools, the flu vaccine.
Yeah.
My friend's daughter was asking her dad about it, whether she should have it or not, and he's a pharmaceutical rep. So he says to her, let's Google it, let's check what's in it and see everything. Nearly all of the things in it were for old people. They weren't for her. So it's like, why are they giving it to kids in schools? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Money, because because the NHS have got to buy a pharmaceutical company. If you're talking about the UK, You know, I mean,
Yeah.
same with the COVID virus. I mean, COVID vaccine. They're gonna spend X amount, hundreds of million, you know, to get, and the NHS are gonna buy it to give it to the unfortunate test subjects.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like those vaccines you're talking about, they're once, aren't they? You have them once, you're done.
yeah. I'm talking. Yeah,
Guaranteed this vaccine will be every year.
you think that? Well, more money.
You don't make money from doing it once, do you?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You make money from
you
doing it
know,
every year.
like you talk about vaccines. Oh, you're anti-vax. Oh, you're conspiracy theories. You this, you that. I'm just saying, look, you do your ones what you do as a kid, but like the flu vaccine, and like I say, it's the worst nightmare when because I had a flight back in April, so my flight's back to just for a 2 week visit. So I don't know when I'm going next back. Say maybe earliest I say October, November. But I don't want to land in the UK and then they turn around and say, right, or Thailand turn around and say, you got to have a vaccine before you can come back here. Because then you're kind of forced to put crap in your body, aren't you?
I think when they have it, that they'll make you have it, if you know what I mean. When they've got a vaccine, they'll make you take it.
What,
You know.
every English subject?
Yeah. Or everybody just so you can travel on an aeroplane. I think that's my guess. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
no expert.
Yeah, like you said, there'll be sort of a travel passport, a travel chip on your passport or something.
Yeah.
Or a kind of, or antibody test. I haven't looked too much into it, you know. Hopefully, hopefully, if I ever get tested to travel, if it comes to that, I've got the antibodies. So, but again, I read the antibodies aren't indefinite. It only lasts up to 3 to 4 months. So again, I don't know, but I tell you, I don't want the vaccine. Just through the crap what they're gonna put in,
Mm-hmm.
and the
Have you?
rush. Sorry, go on.
No. I'm just saying, have you found it in Bangkok with all the COVID? How's it affected you? Apart from obviously your business, which is, you know, for
You,
me,
you you're used to, you're used to
I'm all
Thailand,
about choice.
and
Pardon?
you know what Thailand is, and you know the sort of illogical decisions what the authorities make.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we've had a curfew. We've got a curfew now. It's just been extended. It's 11 till 5 now. It was 10 till 4.
Mm-hmm.
Um, bars are shut. Restaurants are open. You know, 2 meters apart. Some restaurants you can't even sit with your family members. So you drive in the same car, you have to sit at separate tables. Yeah, which I refuse to go into that. So
Yeah.
this screens in sort of the food courts opposite. So if me and the girlfriend sit opposite this screen in Tesco. You're right, the food. Yeah, and it's not even seafood. You know what I mean? So
Seriously.
um, you
I'm,
know.
I'm surprised they don't tell you to wear masks in restaurants.
Yeah. Oh, so it's mass in so mask and temperature check for 7-Eleven. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
everywhere. So Tesco's mask and temp. Now on the last decree, you have to do QR code or name and number because they're doing track and trace. They're taking your details for software what don't work. Yeah, military government, isn't it? You know. So yeah. Apart from that, yeah, it's okay. Like I say, I prefer to be here than in the UK because you know I see some of the restrictions what have been done in the UK and the figures. I know some of the figures have been distorted, you know, but if the figures are anywhere near the truth, they're doing an awful job of containing it, you know. Like I said, I know Thailand, you know, Thailand's got this, oh yeah, so we got the opposite going on. This is my opinion. So when it first came out in the UK and the US, the numbers got exaggerated. You know,
Yeah.
whether that was for the fear factor for the medium, whether to prove the government right, whether to force the vaccine through, whatever it was. Yeah. And now, as the data's come out and time's gone along, they've had to backtrack. You got the CDC saying, "Oh, sorry, we put 50,000 on. We didn't mean to." Yeah, yeah. The UK, yeah. Well, sorry, we've put a few extra thousand on. We've counted some people twice, some of the results twice. You know, some of the antibody tests and some of the nasal tests we've counted. Yes, from the same person, but we counted them twice. Um, but in Thailand, what my opinion is, I think that there hasn't been enough testing, you know, because in the hospitals here, the test is 5 to 10,000 baht. You know, from living in Thailand yourself, the locals aren't going to pay that, you know. Yeah, so,
No,
and
and the
yeah, so
government hospitals, I don't think will be doing it, will they?
no, so I think there've been 800 and something deaths and blah, blah, blah. There's been some distortion of figures on both sides of the world. Some of them have played it down and some of them have played it up. This is my personal opinion. I don't know what the gains are or the agenda is, but again, it's like the authorities on the government, the WHO, the CDC, the numbers just don't add up. And now you've got the race wide. We'll see now with what's going off now. So theoretically, in 10 days, 2 weeks, a lot more people should have COVID from the protest. Yeah.
And in the UK, because they opened it up a bit and there was everyone sat on the beach together, you know. So if it doesn't spike, then it's like, well, why have you kept everyone in the house for 2 months? You know what I mean? Not just a month, you know. So I personally, I thought if you keep people over a month, then it's a power play, because you should be getting ready to get the NHS or whoever it is, the emergency services, ready for it to happen, and then get back to normal. Because I'm a bit Eddie Bravo and Tim Foyle hat, like, you know what I mean. So I think it's about making sure you get rid of small businesses and make sure the big businesses can get in and take all the value. You know what I mean?
Well, we'll see, because
and a lot of other things.
It's destroyed the economy, you know, big business and small business. You know, a few billionaires have raked in a few 100 million, you know what I mean, but they're the only ones what's been paid. But the rest, you know, if you're talking about, again, a familiar topic, jiu-jitsu clubs, they suffered. I've seen a few in the UK what are not opening up, a few in the US what are not opening back up, you know, which is unfortunate.
He's had to shut his gym down.
Yeah, he shut his down. He was subletting or something, and he's not coming back. So, you know, and you say the government set up these hospitals because, you know, they envisaged a lot of patients what never turned up, you know, in the US and the UK. So
I'd like to see the O2, see how full it is, you know, because they had that big thing, didn't they? You know, showing you all these beds and everything. My friend says that he knows people who are nurses and they say the COVID wards are busy, like, so, you know, and I don't disbelieve him. But
it's not a complete lie, per se. But it was just a total exaggeration, you know. And the media have got a lot to play for that, because they scared the hell out of people, you know. And you got in the UK people grassing on people for going out. Oh, you're not breaking, like, no. But at least, and then when you do get some, what's the word I'm looking for? Contradictory information from the government. It's let out in dribs and drabs. There's no You have to go and look for yourself. It's officially been released, the data, but it's not been publicized by the media. You know what I mean? So, like, I've seen a few snippets of where, okay, the health minister or whoever's on the daily briefings in the UK saying, well, he's admitting that if you're between 18 and 49, you know, you're not going to die. It's not that fatal, yeah, for those kind of people. It's saying those, but then those lines aren't in the newspaper, you know, reassuring people that it's kind of safe. Now the CDC say, yeah, it's right, between those 18 and 49, it is kind of the same death rate as the flu. So those people what was saying, the tin foil hat wearers, what was saying, oh, it's just like the flu, and getting persecuted by sheeple, let's call them sheeple, if
Yeah.
we're going are justified because between that certain age range, it has got
Mhm.
the same fatality rate as the flu. I think
That's,
it's 0.02.
I watched
And
that
that was
Dr.
and
Ron
that was
Patrick,
and that was
and
that's on the CDC website.
she was saying about like vitamin D deficiency is a big one. That's why sort of African people who are living in the UK have got more chance of catching it because of their bodies stops a lot of vitamin C because of the colour of the skin, vitamin D because of the colour of the skin, if you know what I mean, because they're used to more sun.
Yeah.
So I think it was about 80 or 90% of the people who died had vitamin D deficiency. So living in the UK and things like that, Thailand should be better because you should have a better vitamin D. And the average age of people dying from COVID was above the average age of people dying. So it's like, I should be okay. Why are you stopping me from going out? You know what I mean? Just
Yeah. And I
if you,
liked
if you,
how nobody died of anything else.
if,
Everything,
no, stop it.
yeah, everything else stopped. It's like Evan said, you're not getting in unless you die from COVID. So you got to die from
Yeah.
COVID.
The thing is, though, for me as well, I'm a risk taker. I don't know about you, Lee. So all my life I've took risks. So for you to say you can't go out because there's a virus and you've got this very small chance of dying, it's like, okay, man, I used to stick needles
Well,
in my arms. Do you think I'm worried about that?
I think the most scariest thing about this, and this is what, when I talk to people, is the asymptomatic infection of other people. So
Yeah.
when you have got elderly parents and people with existing medical conditions, yeah, that's the scariest thing.
Mhm.
So if you are a person who goes and visits your parents regular and they are elderly or they've got other medical conditions, yeah, I can see this being a problem. But I'm like
Yeah.
you, I'd go and see them. I'd just go and see them with a face mask. I
Mhm.
mean, the both wear face masks, the percentage of infection goes down. But but that's the only thing. But apart from that, I'm like you. I'll go about my life as normal. I'd trade. Let's roll. Let's roll. Let's roll. I'll ask them. You're gonna go and see your parents. How old's your parents? Oh, 82 now. Oh, I don't think you should. you know.
Yeah.
Uh, So, but this is the only thing that I can see is going to be a problem on people's minds. Is that um, apart from that, if I was in the UK, like now, I haven't given up training. I train, with a Swedish guy all the way through. We get together, we drill techniques,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. I haven't stopped. I've stopped the club, but I'm mixing them. But I drill an hour Monday to Friday, weekend off. That's it.
Do you
And
still enjoy jiu-jitsu?
yeah, I'll enjoy it
Yeah.
to the day I die. I'm
I,
getting
I
more
just
and more. I'm getting more and more aches as I get older. Now my knees are going. I can feel my knee. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But yeah,
I
I've
just
actually
wondered
trained
because
slightly.
is there a crossover like between it's my job but I still enjoy it. It's like that old thing of where you say find a hobby that you can make money from and you'll never have to
Yeah,
work again.
it is that.
Is
I
is
still
it
enjoy.
like that for you?
Yeah, it is like that for me. I still enjoy it. I still enjoy the evolution. Because like I say, my jujitsu 5 years ago is no way the same jujitsu what I'm doing now. And the jujitsu what I'm doing now is not going to be the same in 5 years, even 2 years, or even next year. So every time I train, like I say, Monday to Friday, I'm figuring things out. I'm adding things and I'm throwing things away. Trying new things. So I'm always evolving. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do as a martial artist. You always got to evolve, or you become stale and stagnant, and then you die. So that's and so does your art. So you gotta keep on hacking away, boom, 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 keep doing it, keep
That,
doing it.
that, that's one thing I felt about when I came to train with you. You know what I mean? That enjoyment's still there, and it was really cool. Like I've trained with some people, and it's just so serious, and it's like, oh man, you know what I mean? I
I
don't
think
hear
that's
this. You know, it was like we're taking the piss out of each other. You're taking the piss out of me because I'm trying to breathe through my arsehole because I was dying. And it was just good fun, you know what I mean? And that's what I look for, and that's what I like, you know what I mean? And that's why one of the reasons, one, I like it, and two, I wanted to speak to you about that, you know what I mean? Because I really enjoyed rolling with you.
I think that's down to personality as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's to do with Brits. We've got a weird sense of humor compared to the rest of the world. You know, we always take like I said, with training with you know, the rough ass guys. You know, we used to take the piss out of each other. Same now, you know, if I know you can take that sense of humor, I'll take the piss out of you. You know, sometimes I have to hold back because you're like, oh, you're being funny, don't you like me? You know what I mean? Like I know, like being in Bangkok, you meet people from different regions of the world, and you learn that people have got different sense of humor. So, but there's nothing like when two bricks get together. Like when my friends come and see me at the gym, it's not like a greeting, like "Yo, mate," like "Oi, you're looking fat." You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, like, oh, you made it then. Oh, you know what I mean? Oh, you know what I mean? So, and I think, yeah, one is personality, and then two, it's sense of humor. You know, it's got to be fun to learn. You can be regimented and call, oh, professor. You got to call me master. You know what I mean? And if you don't, you can't train. And what's the point? You know, it's all about ego then. You know, I ain't got an ego. You know, I'll just if you're willing to learn, you know, willing to listen, you know, willing to accept what I'm saying, you know, we can have fun. You know, you fun and learn, keep fit, self-defense, whatever you want to do. You know, I do know instructors and know of instructors which are like, you got to bow, you got to figure, you know, I mean, you can't laugh, you can't, you know, you got to take it serious, you know, cross your legs, but there's some etiquette what I still, you know, observe, but, you know, at the end of the day, it's all about having fun. Even when, like say, I'm drilling with a Swedish guy, Anders, we have fun. You know what I mean? I tell him, no, that shit, that won't work. You know? You know what I mean? Yeah, Leah, I seen this last night. No, that shit, that won't work. You know, so you can say, oh, well, you just, no. It's all about having fun, Ross. You know, if you don't have fun.
I had this Japanese guy, he's a coach once, you might know him like him. What's it called? He hung his black belt up on the cage. So
the one with the middle finger. Did he have him at EMAC? Did he have a little finger? What's his name? Mizuru. Was it the tattoo guy?
Yeah. So it's like, I didn't realise you'd got a black belt. Oh, yeah, don't touch that. And it's like, oh, hang on a minute. I thought I was going to end up fighting with him. And there was another time I could see he didn't know what to teach one lesson. You know, this lesson, he's thinking what to do. And I went, I'd just seen Olenek do an Ezekiel choke with no gi. And he said, is there any chance we can learn this? You don't tell me what to do. Oh, fucking hell, mate. I just left. I went, nah, fuck it. And then about a week later, I came to train with you. And I had such a laugh. And I fell in love with jiu-jitsu again. Apart from when you were... And I'm like, why didn't you tap me out then? He's no. And you're like, no, I want to put knee on belly and fuck you up. And I'm like,
yeah, man. Yeah.
But, you know, I love, man. You know what I mean? That's great for me.
So Mizuru he wasn't alone. He taught at EMAC before me, and there was a few incidents like that. You know, you wasn't alone. I was told that the student rate went down. A lot of people, well, not a lot, a few people left and didn't enjoy his classes because, you know, he did that. I think he got
a combat group where I used to train with. But,
so it wasn't. So don't take it personally. I think it was just him. He ended up in China and then back
I spoke to him when he was in China.
And then I think he's gone back to thingy now. Japan, I don't know, I'm not sure. I've lost contact. I don't know where he is.
But no, yeah, I just wanted to say how good it is and how much I enjoy training with you. You know what I mean? And I always appreciate that time you know, you let me come and train with your pros when you were teaching at BFL, like, you know what I mean, when you had the MMA sparring.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah, I
really
remember now
appreciate
because you said you wanted to fight, didn't you? And I said, all right, well, come and sample a squad session. Tell me what you
yeah.
think, you know, and then that's it. Yeah. So yeah.
No. I appreciate that. That was, you know, that's, you know, so.
All right then. Well, we got 2 minutes left. It's
Yeah,
off 11.
that's been
So
an hour now.
yeah, so yeah, so
That's
you're
why
gonna
I'm
get back
going to have
over
to
here
go
as
on
soon
that.
as you can then. So
Yeah,
you're gonna get.
a quick question, Lee. It's the reason why I do the podcast. I don't know if you looked at it. One thing I want is to find something we can all agree on, and I don't know if you watched that thing about my introduction. Is that I think that we can all agree on big companies should pay the correct amount of tax, and if we can do that, then all these problems lower down the grade wouldn't have the same problem because there'd be the funds across the country. That I'm not sure what you think about that. Just a quick one, and then we'll leave
Okay.
it there.
Yeah, so you're on about taxation and the top 1%
Yeah,
of the rich and the poor. So
yeah.
yeah, you're right, but it will never happen. The rich, the 1% or the 2% will always run the minions. You know, they'll rule the minions and they'll always get tax rate. Like, I don't know. I tell you what, a sensible taxation idea was good. The US. I follow US politics a bit, but not much. But the woman, I don't even know if she's a Democrat or Republican, but she said to tax the billionaires. She said you can get the first 50 million free, but after that we're going to take $1 off you for every, was it every $100 or every $1,000 we're going to take $1. She said
Uh-huh.
she said you can take the first 50 million free, no tax. But after that, we're going to take every dollar out of $100 or $1,000, which if she would have did that idea and put that forward, that would have sorted out the poor people. That would have funded the hospitals, funded this, funded this, funded this. But hey Google, stop alarm. Yeah. But she got so much opposition. The Wall Street people was like, "What? Don't let her get in power." She was running for I don't know. I don't know who she is. I'll have to get forward your name, Cook or no. But her idea, and it was a sensible idea. Imagine she's only talking about the super rich. She's saying you can have the
Yeah.
first 50 million. We won't even tax you. Yeah, look, 50 million. The normal person's not going to spend 50 million in the lifetime, are they?
Not 50 lifetimes.
Yeah. So she's saying you can have the first 50 million free, but after that, it's $1 every. I don't know if it's every $1,000. Yeah,
It'll be more
or
than that because in the UK it's over 100,000. It's 50% tax. Because I used to pay the 40% tax, which is over.
Yeah. You're right. But I'm just giving you that example.
Yeah.
Over 40K, you go up to the next in the UK. But I'm saying what she was saying made sense, and she gave and the figures what she gave, would help a lot of the poor people. But she got a lot of objection from the super rich. They wasn't even willing to have 50 mil free. But that's the sort of ideas you're going to come across. But again, just prime example. I told you she got the most opposition. The Wall Street guys and the rich guys were saying, look, we can't let her get in power. She was public enemy number one. You couldn't let her in power or be in the Senate or wherever she is. I'll have to forward you the name. You can look at what she was trying to suggest and tell me if you think it was fair and put it there. But yeah, you're right, Riz, but it'll never be. It's even since the ancient times in the UK. Let's say 1066, William the Conqueror, when the French come over, and was the ruling class. The English people was nobody. They didn't care about us, or the English people, the Anglo-Saxons. Didn't care about, and it's the same mentality now. That's super rich.
Yeah.
We do need a taxation thing, but it gains so much opposition, you know, so much opposition to it, you know,
For me,
especially. Go on, so go on.
but just quick on it, and we'll finish there because I you know, I don't want to keep you too long, and I appreciate your time. For me, it was like when I'm posting stuff about conspiracy shit and everything, it's like I haven't got a solution. So all I'm doing is moaning, you know what I mean? All I'm doing is pissing other people off, really. So it's like, what can we
Honestly,
do? And also, it's a
let's finish
chat to
like this.
people.
Let's finish like this. It's the ultimate conspiracy ending. What will answer all your problems, and that's when shit goes down with aliens, and we prove David Icke was right, and everyone's lizard people. That's when the human race is going to come
I
together.
believe it.
Yeah, there's no more. There's going to be no more racism. Yeah, no more money because there's shit we've run by lizards. Yeah, lizards rule it all, and then everyone's going to go, ah, and all the black and white and brown people are going to come together, and the rich are going to
There
be
will
like,
be
okay, let's
racism, but just against the lizard people, won't it?
seriously. So that's the only thing what's going to affect us is like when we meet aliens. And this racism shit's gonna start because then we're all under the bubble of umbrella of humans v the aliens, yeah. And then
I think they're here already.
taxation won't matter. Taxation won't matter. You know what I mean? Because everybody will be running like, what are we gonna do with these aliens? David Icke was right in his shell tracksuit. He was right.
On that note, Lee, thanks so much, man.
All right,
thanks for your time. Been great chatting to you, mate.
Well, enjoy Peru. And don't bring any dodgy bags back to Thailand. You know, when you do make it back. You know, don't hold anybody for...
I'm drinking ayahuasca every weekend at the moment so I can go and see people. It's more of a social thing than anything else.
Oh, dear. Well, keep safe, and I hope your thing goes well. I see your eye. You're all seeing eye in the idea, one idea.
Yeah, man.
It's fine on me.
Peace out. Cheers, Lee. Thanks very much. Hope to see you soon, man.
Take care.
Peace out, man. Bye-bye.
And you. Bye-bye.